Hi there, and welcome to Elderly Made Easy, the channel where growing older doesn't mean slowing down. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're looking for practical tips on health, wellness, or daily living after 60, you're in the right place. We break things down in a way that's simple, supportive, and tailored just for you, because life after retirement should feel lighter, easier, and more joyful. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's make aging not just manageable, but meaningful. Have you ever gone to stand up from your favorite chair and felt that sudden wave of lightheadedness, like your body just wasn't keeping up the way it used to? Maybe your doctor mentioned your blood pressure creeping up a little higher than it should be, and you're wondering what you can actually do about it without relying on a drawer full of pills. If that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. Because today, we're going to talk about something simple, natural, and surprisingly powerful: the foods you eat every single day. Now, here's the good news: lowering your blood pressure doesn't have to mean complicated diets, giving up all your favorite meals, or choking down bitter herbal concoctions that taste like old socks. Nope, not at all. In fact, there are 5 everyday foods, real, tasty foods, that can help bring your blood pressure back into balance, especially after 60. These aren't exotic superfoods from halfway across the world. You'll recognize every single one of them. And the best part? You might already have a few sitting in your kitchen right now. Why is this so important after 60? Well, as we get older, our blood vessels tend to stiffen. It's a natural part of aging, but it does make it a little harder for our hearts to pump blood efficiently. That's one of the reasons why high blood pressure, or hypertension, becomes more common with age. But that doesn't mean we have to accept it. Our bodies still respond incredibly well to the right kind of nourishment, and when we give them what they need, we can feel the difference in our energy, our sleep, even in how steady and clear our thinking feels. So let's get into it. The first food on our list is something that's been around forever, but most people don't realize just how helpful it can be for your heart: leafy greens. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, even good old romaine lettuce. These humble greens are rich in potassium, and that's a big deal when it comes to managing blood pressure. You see, potassium helps your body balance out the effects of sodium. And sodium, the kind hiding in salty snacks, canned soups, and fast food, is one of the biggest culprits when it comes to pushing blood pressure too high. Now here's the kicker: you don't have to eat a salad the size of your head to get the benefits. Just a handful of spinach tossed into scrambled eggs, or a little chard sautéed with garlic and olive oil, delicious and effective. One woman I know, in her early 70s, started adding a small side of greens to her lunch every day. Nothing fancy, just whatever was in the fridge. After a few weeks, not only did her numbers drop, but she said she felt sharper, more alert in the afternoons. Like her brain had finally taken off its foggy glasses. And speaking of olive oil, that brings us to our next food. You might have heard the term good fats tossed around before, but what does that really mean? Well, olive oil is one of the best examples. It's packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, and studies have shown it can help reduce blood pressure when used regularly. It's a staple in Mediterranean countries, where people tend to live longer and have lower rates of heart disease. But it's not just about pouring olive oil on everything. It's about replacing some of the less helpful fats, like those found in processed foods or certain vegetable oils, with better choices. Imagine this: instead of frying your vegetables in canola oil, you drizzle them with a touch of extra virgin olive oil and roast them. The flavor is rich, the texture is perfect, and your arteries? They'll thank you. You can even use it as a salad dressing base or a dip for a slice of whole grain bread. Just that small switch can give your heart a big advantage. What's beautiful about both leafy greens and olive oil is that they don't require a massive lifestyle overhaul. No crash diets. No starving yourself. Just thoughtful little changes you can actually enjoy. That's what makes these foods so powerful. They're not only healthy, they're sustainable. And at this stage in life, we're not looking for gimmicks. We want things that work, that feel good, and that keep us living life on our terms. Now that we've explored those first two heart helpers, the fresh crunch of leafy greens and the golden goodness of olive oil, let's keep going. One of the most beautiful things about making changes in your health after 60 is realizing that it doesn't have to be hard, it just has to be consistent. And sometimes, the best things we can do for our hearts are also the simplest. We've already talked about the power of leafy greens and the richness of olive oil. Now, let's move to a food that's both comforting and surprisingly powerful when it comes to keeping those blood pressure numbers in check: beets. Yes, beets. Whether you love them or you're still on the fence, hear me out. These vibrant root vegetables are a natural source of nitrates, not the artificial kind found in processed meats, but the kind that helps open up your blood vessels, making it easier for blood to flow. That means less strain on your heart and more oxygen getting where it needs to go. It's like giving your circulatory system a gentle tune-up. You don't need to down a whole jar of pickled beets either. A small roasted beet tossed into a salad, a few slices added to your dinner plate, or even a glass of beet juice in the morning, these little habits can go a long way. There's a man I used to chat with at the community center who started drinking just half a glass of beet juice before his morning walk. He said it made him feel more energized, like his legs weren't dragging as much. Over time, his doctor noticed his blood pressure had steadied out, and he swore it was those beets. And if the earthy flavor isn't your favorite? Try blending cooked beets into a smoothie with a banana and a handful of berries. It adds a gorgeous color and a hint of sweetness, without tasting like you've just pulled something out of the garden and eaten it whole. Beets are also rich in folate, which is another heart helper, especially as we age. It's like this little root is a multitasking miracle. Speaking of smoothies, that brings us to the next food on our journey, one that's creamy, comforting, and surprisingly versatile: plain, low-fat yogurt. Now, you might not think of yogurt as a blood pressure food, but it's actually a quiet champion when it comes to cardiovascular health. Why? It's packed with calcium, potassium, and magnesium, a trio of minerals that work together to support healthy blood pressure. Let's take potassium, for instance. It helps your kidneys balance out sodium levels in the body, which is key for keeping blood pressure in check. Magnesium plays a role in relaxing your blood vessels. And calcium? It's not just about bones, it also supports the function of your heart muscles. When you bring these nutrients together in one simple food, you've got a powerful ally for your heart. Now, I know yogurt doesn't always sound exciting. But it doesn't have to be boring. You can stir in some fresh berries, a drizzle of honey, a few crushed walnuts, or even a sprinkle of cinnamon. One woman I met at a local senior wellness class said she keeps a little jar of cinnamon yogurt in her fridge as a mid-afternoon treat. It's her me-time snack, and it helps her avoid reaching for the salty chips or sweets that used to send her blood pressure soaring. If you're sensitive to dairy, don't worry. There are some great non-dairy alternatives out there now. Just look for ones that are fortified with calcium and low in added sugars. Almond milk yogurt, for example, can be a great choice, especially if you're keeping an eye on your digestion too. What's really empowering is knowing that none of these foods require a major lifestyle change. You're not overhauling your whole pantry or cooking like a gourmet chef. You're simply making better choices, one meal, one snack, one day at a time. And these choices start to build on each other. You might notice you're sleeping a little better. Your energy feels more even. Maybe you start walking a little more, standing a little straighter. That's what happens when your heart doesn't have to work quite so hard. Your whole body starts to thank you for it. Now that we've explored the earthy strength of beets and the creamy calm of yogurt, let's take one more step toward foods that truly love your heart back. Now, let's talk about a food that might already be sitting quietly in your fruit bowl, waiting patiently to be noticed. I'm talking about bananas. Simple, sweet, and wildly underrated when it comes to supporting your blood pressure. These sunny yellow fruits are like nature's little energy packs, and what makes them so valuable for your heart is, you guessed it, potassium. We've already touched on how potassium helps your body get rid of excess sodium. It's kind of like a balancing act inside your cells. When there's too much sodium hanging around, potassium helps flush it out, which keeps your blood pressure from creeping up. And bananas? They're one of the most potassium-rich foods out there that you can just grab and eat on the go. No prep, no cleanup, just peel and enjoy. Now, maybe you're thinking, aren't bananas full of sugar? And yes, they are naturally sweet. But that sugar comes with fiber, vitamins, and all the minerals that make a big difference for your health. The key is to eat them in moderation, one banana a day, perhaps paired with a handful of almonds or a dollop of that plain yogurt we talked about earlier. That way, the sugar doesn't hit your system too fast, and your body gets a steady stream of goodness. A friend of mine, she's in her late 60s and absolutely loves her morning banana, told me she eats one every day while she's out tending her small garden. Says it keeps her going, keeps her regular, and best of all, her blood pressure has stayed beautifully steady for years. And I'll tell you, she's as sharp and energetic as someone half her age. Another great thing about bananas? They're easy to digest. For many folks over 60, the digestive system can get a bit more sensitive. Bananas are gentle, soothing, and they don't upset the stomach. They're great for breakfast, a quick afternoon snack, or even frozen and blended into a healthy dessert. Yes, frozen bananas in a blender, it's like soft-serve ice cream, but without the guilt. Now, here's the thing, everything we've talked about so far is about working with your body. Not fighting it, not forcing it. Just nourishing it. And that brings us to a kind of unsung hero in the world of heart health. It's not flashy, and it doesn't get as much attention as kale or chia seeds, but it quietly supports your entire cardiovascular system from the inside out. I'm talking about oats. Good old-fashioned oats. Not the sugary instant packets that taste like dessert, I mean real oats. Rolled oats, steel-cut oats, even plain quick oats if you're short on time. These are packed with something called soluble fiber. And that type of fiber works like a sponge, soaking up excess cholesterol in your bloodstream and helping to remove it from your body. That alone can ease the pressure on your arteries and help keep your blood pressure in a healthier range. But here's the bonus, oats are incredibly filling. They keep you satisfied longer, which makes it easier to avoid the high-sodium snacks and processed foods that often sneak into our diets when we're hungry. A warm bowl of oatmeal in the morning, topped with some fresh fruit, a sprinkle of cinnamon, maybe a few chopped walnuts, that's not just a healthy meal, it's comfort in a bowl. There's a man I know, in his early 70s, who swears by his morning oatmeal. He jokes that he hasn't missed a day since the 80s. Says it keeps him regular, keeps his cholesterol in check, and helps him avoid the temptation of bacon and toast slathered in butter. And when his doctor told him his blood pressure was textbook perfect at his last checkup, he gave all the credit to his oats. So, whether it's a simple bowl in the morning or using oats in baking, like homemade muffins or oat-crusted fish, this one food can quietly support your heart every single day. When we put all these foods together, from the green freshness of spinach, to the deep color of beets, to the creaminess of yogurt, the sweetness of bananas, and the grounding warmth of oats, we're not just talking about ingredients. We're talking about building a lifestyle. One that doesn't rely on restriction or punishment, but on nourishment, flavor, and joy. A lifestyle where your meals become your medicine, and your kitchen becomes a place of healing. The truth is, it's never too late to take back control of your health. These aren't just foods. They're tools. Gentle, natural, powerful tools that can help you feel better, live longer, and enjoy more of the moments that really matter, the conversations over lunch with friends, the energy to play with your grandkids, the quiet confidence of knowing your heart is strong. So here we are. We've walked through 5 simple foods, leafy greens, olive oil, beets, yogurt, bananas, and oats, each with their own quiet power to support your heart and help lower blood pressure naturally. What's truly special about these foods isn't just what they do individually, it's how they work together, how they fit into a life that feels grounded, steady, and full of vitality. You see, getting older doesn't mean we have to slow down or sit back and watch our health slip away. If anything, this stage of life gives us a chance to finally focus on what really matters. To listen to our bodies, to nourish them with care, and to enjoy the rewards of doing so, better sleep, more energy, clearer thinking, and yes, healthier blood pressure numbers that make your doctor raise their eyebrows in surprise. And no, It doesn't take a radical diet, a stack of supplements, or hours spent trying to decipher medical journals. It's about little things. A handful of greens here. A drizzle of olive oil there. A warm bowl of oats in the morning instead of a donut. These aren't sacrifices, they're gifts. Gifts you give yourself, day by day, meal by meal. There's something deeply empowering about realizing that even after 60, maybe especially after 60, your choices still matter. That your body is still listening to everything you feed it. That you can still influence how you feel, how you move, how clearly you think. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're right on time. I want you to imagine this with me for just a moment. You wake up in the morning, and instead of stiffness and grogginess, you feel steady. Your heart feels calm. Your body feels ready. You move through your day without that fog in your head, without worrying about the next blood pressure reading. You're not just reacting to symptoms, you're actively creating health. And that's what this is really about. Not just living longer, but living better. Feeling more alive in your own skin. Knowing that the little things you do, what you eat, how you move, how you care for yourself, they all add up to something that matters. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right every single time. Maybe one day you skip the greens. Maybe you have a slice of pie. That's okay. What matters is the direction you're headed. Progress, not perfection. One step at a time. One meal at a time. One choice at a time. So if this video has helped you, if you feel even a little more encouraged, a little more empowered, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts down in the comments. Tell me, which of these foods are already a part of your routine? Which one are you excited to try? Your experience could inspire someone else who's on the same journey. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people find this kind of content. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got more practical, heart-centered advice coming your way, all focused on helping you live stronger, feel younger, and thrive at every stage of life. Because here's the truth, this chapter of your life isn't the end of anything. It's the beginning of something beautiful. You still have so much to give, so much to enjoy, and so many moments waiting for you. And it all starts with caring for the one thing that carries you through it all, your body. Your heart. So here's to the power of small changes. Here's to the foods that heal. And most of all, here's to you, living fully, boldly, and with love for the life that's still unfolding. You've got this. Thanks so much for spending your time with us today here on Elderly Made Easy. I hope you found something helpful, something hopeful, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're learning and growing together, one day at a time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more uplifting tips to help you live your best life at any age. Take care of yourself, and until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and keep making life a little easier, one step at a time.